Well, welcome everybody. Hope you had a good lunch. And this is not the session that you get to relax in and have a food coma in. So if you want to switch now and go upstairs, go upstairs. Otherwise, we're going to be working here. This is going to be a hands-on lab kind of experience today and not necessarily a presentation. So hopefully you're awake and had lots of sugar. So anyways, I'm Mike Maziarz, one of the product managers here at ObservePoint. Been here roughly 9 years or so, lots of different roles. Can't imagine my life anywhere else. So awesome. I think this is like my fourth or fifth or sixth Validate/Edge. So super excited to have all of you here. And then this is Clint. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yes. Okay. I can't hear myself. Great. So I've been here almost 13 years. I was on the team that hired Mike. I was actually thought he was just like this punk high school kid when we first saw him. Was I wrong? Such a good hire Mike was. Mike and I were on the same team for about 6 months. And then I spent the next 6 years trying to figure out how to get Mike back on my team. And it turned out that Mike got me onto his team. So it was good. Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything here. I'm at ObservePoint. I started out when we were just 6 of us. And we had a couple of big companies come on board, Turner Broadcasting and News Digital Media out of Australia, and nobody knew what our app really did. And so they hired me to come figure it out and to help those customers. And so I've been in the thick of things ever since. So,
And I always remember Clint asked me, and we went to one of his favorite restaurants for an interview, and he asked me, so I have one question for you. Can you tell me how the internet works? And that's like such a loaded question, and so I recommend using it in all of your interviews because it sticks with me to this day. It's like, wow, okay, if you can answer that question, then you can kind of do anything. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so today we're going to talk about capturing kind of custom data insights that we think you should be using today. Earlier in the presentation this morning, you saw this big, lot of kind of word cloud of all these things that ObservePoint wants to go and conquer the world with, right? And the cool thing is we actually can do a lot of those things today. It's just not necessarily productized, but ObservePoint's built on a very powerful and also actually flexible kind of data collection engine that allows us to do a lot of cool things and get a lot of cool insights with just a little bit of technical know-how. You can really unleash a lot of cool insights. So some of the ones we're going to be going over today are these items here, which I'll go through in just a second. But just a reminder, this is at a lab. So what we're going to be asking you today is to open up your computer, make sure you have ObservePoint open, and then we're going to get into the future, and we're going to use some generative AI. So open up ChatGPT, and if you don't have it, you probably should get it. It's kind of a cool thing. So this is going to be the coolest thing you might take away from the conference is you know how to use ChatGPT. And so we're going to be using those two tools, ChatGPT and then ObservePoint, obviously, because you're at an ObservePoint conference, to capture these insights. And what's really cool about ChatGPT, because we knew how to do a lot of this stuff before this conference, and we're thinking, how can we get just any end user to be able to get these insights and not have to know code or really don't even know how the website works? They just need to know, what insights do I want? And so we're going to walk you through kind of a process of being how to prompt ChatGPT to give you any insight you want, and then basically just copy and paste that and put it into an ObservePoint audit, and then have ObservePoint automatically go and check that for you and validate it for you over time. So that's what we're going to be walking through today. So the ones we're going to be looking at are technical SEO, and then specific kind of around broken links, and then keyword search, so finding anything on your website, doing some privacy checks, looking for, is my CMP banner present? How about my policy information? What about CCPA and do not sell, that kind of stuff? And then some more enhanced page details. So ObservePoint provides some out-of-the-box page detail information, but we're going to get pretty granular here with some details with kind of that the browser can give you. So let's go ahead and jump in. Right.
So we're going to utilize, I'll show you the ChatGPT stuff here in just a moment. But first, just want to look at the reporting on this, where we're going to see these results. Is it big enough for everybody to see? Yep. All right. So you'll see here in our browser console logs report, this is where we're going to write all these to. We have a couple of different ways to collect some of this custom data. You can do it with what we call the OB custom tag. You want to use that if you're doing a lot of fine variable level of validation, and there's a whole bunch of help docs on our help site about that you can go reference. Here we're going to focus today more on more pass-fail type things. Show me images that didn't have an alt text. Show me page titles that were longer than 70 characters. Or show me pages where my DOM content loaded took more than 3 seconds, or those kinds of things. We're gonna do more of a pass-fail, and I'll show you how we use ChatGPT to write those scripts as well. So we'll see here just very quickly that I also ran a check for show me pages where the content of the page is less than or greater than 500 characters, or pages with or without a canonical URL. So I can just say, let me look at the canonical URL one real quick here. So we can see here that of this 100-page scan, I've got 96 URLs that had a canonical URL and 4 URLs that didn't, right? So it's one of the important parts of technical SEO. So how do we get here? So inside ObservePoint, you're going to set up within your audit the on-page action. And so here is that action that's doing all that. And if we can, I need to zoom in just a little bit.
It looks scary, all that code. If you're not,
I didn't write any of this, by the way.
But
Like I
neither
had
of us
ChatGPT to
touched
write this. So I did add the SEO : fail and pass stuff just because I wanted it formatted just that way. But then after I did that once and I put the code back into ChatGPT, it kept using my construct, which is really cool. So you can see here's just a couple of simple things we're looking for. You know, pages that the do or do not have an H1, pages where the title is too long or too short, or pages that don't have a canonical URL, like I just mentioned, or pages that are missing the description. So there's a whole bunch more technical SEO things that you could add to this list. This is just a sample, and we can actually walk through that as well. So how did we get here? Jumping over to ChatGPT, I'll scroll to the very top. I actually saved this session here. This is me refined. This is me doing a whole bunch of different things. But I started with this question. Write a JavaScript that can be executed in Chrome Developer Tools. The JS needs to capture all HTML image tags and output them to console. That's what I started with. So we can actually just grab that. And we can, so this is how you're going to test this before you put this into ObservePoint and run it at scale. You can test it right in your browser console, because this is effectively what we're doing when we're doing our scans. So I'm just going to copy and paste that from there, press enter, and this will give me just a list of all of the images on this page. And then continuing my prompt engineering with ChatGPT, I realized this is not what I want. I want pass-fail, right? I want to know, show me images that don't have the alt tag, the alt text. And so we can come down here. I first said, hey, give me all the images, give me their sizes, show me the alt, right? So I started working through this process, and then I'm not going to go through all this because it was a little bit long. But then just as we went through this, I said, okay, now show me those that don't have an alt, set that as a fail, or images or pages that have a title tag that is longer than 70 characters, because Google truncates search results, right? When you see that result is 70 characters, if it's longer than that, they truncate it, and it's better not to have that. Okay, so, and we'll actually walk through ChatGPT here in a minute. We'll actually have it add a check for your do not sell link here in just a minute as well. All right, so back to ObservePoint once again, just kind of see how all that works. And then this just executes on every single page. It checks, once again, for title tag, H1, images, word count on the page, all those things. And then the thing that's really powerful here, and the main reason I wanted this to be a pass-fail type evaluation was so that we could write a simple alert on it. So we can say, I can just grab this pages missing a canonical URL if I wanted to, and simply filter by that value. So now I've got 4. Now I can easily click here on the alerts and set an alert, which I've already done, that shows me URLs that don't have a canonical URL, and that will send me an email whenever I've got URLs on my site that don't have that. And then you could set an alert for all those things. You'll get one email from us that says, here's all the things that failed. Super easy to set up, super powerful, as you can see. So sad on that one.
Yeah, so you'll kind of see a couple things. So we're in the browser console logs report. So like I said, ObservePoint's platform is pretty powerful, and if you just know a little know-how, we're using a little bit of a hack of using the existing report to generate these browser console logs to set alerts on them. And so that's kind of the process. So that's why you see where we're here is because we're a lot of things we want to prioritize, but we're just showing you how to get this information today. Now, one cool thing is maybe some of you in this room probably aren't over SEO or maybe aren't responsible for it. You'll notice here in the top right, there's a share link. So someone you probably know is. And so some of these insights that we'll show you how to gather today, you can actually go through and just share this link. And it's a public link, so they don't have to have a login with ObservePoint. They can actually just click here. You can even share with the filter. So if it was just for the SEO, you can get that filtered view right into their hands and get the information they need without having an ObservePoint login. So we're hoping that some of these insights may not be specific to you, but that you'll know someone that it will be for. And this is how you can just share with them, and hopefully they can get some value from it. And you can look awesome. So let's go to the next use case. We just did SEO. We did our demo.
Okay. First on that, since we said this was going to be a working session, is this useful for you? Like, is this something that you want to set up? We do have some. We have our two of our solutions engineers and our head of customer success. I think Dylan was going to be here. He might be meeting with somebody. Like, if you want to work on this right now, like, feel free to ignore us for the next few minutes because we're essentially just going to go through this same process again with some other use cases. So, like, if this one that's interesting right now, if you go to our ObservePoint community Slack group, there's a channel. What do we call it? Do you remember, Mike?
Edge custom content.
Yeah, and so go to that channel. All of these JavaScripts that I'm using in here, I've pasted in there as well that you can just copy and use.
So I don't know here, we have a OP community, ObservePoint community Slack, and in there is a channel called Edge custom content. And we've shared already, pre-shared all of the code that we're using, and then we'll make sure you get them after the conference if you're not in that channel. That way you can just reuse these same prompts and then create whatever you want for your data collection needs.
And that's actually one of the things that's really, really impressive and amazing with ChatGPT is you can take that JavaScript that we've already kind of worked through a little bit and curated just a little bit and say, hey, take this JavaScript and add this thing to it. And it's like, it does it. And I'll actually show you that in just a second. It's really, really cool. I was super impressed when it was like, oh, it even did my SEO pass fail stuff. Like I didn't expect it to do that, but it did.
Awesome. Yeah. And then one of the things, so Clint did show you how to set the alerts, but when our alert tools, you can actually pick who you want to go to. And so whether they're an ObservePoint customer or not, feel free to share those alerts and say, hey, just so you know, just ran this scan and we have more issues regarding SEO. Let me know if you need help, kind of thing. All right. So the next insight that we'll show you how to capture is keywords, phrases, really anything that's text on your website. ObservePoint can find for you and show you exactly where it is. So it could be an example would be, hey, you have some old branding on your website that you need to make sure that it's rectified and removed. Perhaps some old terminology that, hey, we used to say this, we don't say that anymore. Or maybe you have reference to an old employee kind of all over the place that's no longer there. There's many use cases for finding text on your website. And so this next use case we're going to walk through, we'll show you how to do that. We'll give you the framework, and then really it's just put whatever words or phrases or sentences or words you want to get insight from.
So I'll start by showing you the JavaScript we're running here. Super simple. This one is, so right now I'm saying, hey, look for these. Is that big enough to see? Let me zoom in just a little bit again.
Yeah, that's better.
So I'm just saying, hey, look for this phrase, validate your privacy. Let's say we didn't want to use that phrase anymore. Let's say we wanted to rebrand and use something different, or accurate and actionable data, or page scans. We don't want to use that term. We want to call it something else. So we want to just during our scan. So all I'm saying here is, hey, this is a text. I'm checking for some kind of text, and it fails if one of those phrases was found. And you could list as many phrases as you wanted here, or it passes if none of them were found.
And exclude anything like that would be a link. So in my example, we run out of it. So I would want to do a search for AID, but I don't want it to be like a link to a dot.
Gotcha. So if the text said AIG, right, but the text was actually a link that goes to AIG, that's okay. But if it's just text, that's bad. Let's see if ChatGPT can do it. I don't know. Let's give it a try. Let's grab it. All right, let's see. No, this is great. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to do here. So I always like to be nice to the AI, just because Terminator, and soon it can talk. Like, it's like, it's. Did you guys see like Elon's post yesterday on Twitter? So like ChatGPT soon will be able to listen to what you like, respond to voice prompts and talk, and have image generation. And like Elon's tweet yesterday was, "Are you scared yet?" So I think we should just be nice to the AIs. So anyways, so I always start mine with please. Please add AI a check or AI probably it doesn't matter to but only if the text is not part of a hyperlink.
You have a 2 in there. I don't know if Chat
it's
smart enough.
It's really good. It is. I'm going to leave it just to see. And then I would just give it a couple of spaces and then paste in my JavaScript. We'll see what happens here. And this is the free version of ChatGPT 3.5. Oh, I got to get way down to the bottom now. Sorry.
There's a down arrow.
Is there a down arrow? You see it? Oh, there it is. All right. It's finished already. I don't know if it worked or not. On text, let's see. Those of you know Java, I know JavaScript just a little bit. Yeah, so it added some stuff about anchors. It has added AIG to my array of phrases or strings to look for already. So now we just need a page that would have AIG on it that's not a link to check it against. Or we could have one of our engineers here say if this JavaScript's going to work or not. I just have to go test it in browser. So we could actually go, let's just try it real quick. Let's just go AIG. I'm assuming AIG.com is their website. So it should flag all over the place here, right? Anyways, I'm not sure if it's working. This is one we might need to work on just a little bit more. Like you can see if I go back to ChatGPT here, you'll actually see that some of these took me a little while to refine, right? What exactly I wanted it to do. Because I wasn't, I just wrote this one little sentence, right? That wasn't really that clear. Maybe I could be a little bit more clear in my prompts. So, but we'll test that one some more. I guess that's what this use case is looking for. Where am I at, Mike?
You were just showing the code generation, so we haven't looked at the results.
Oh, over here. Okay, so I've got some pages where it failed. So we've got this phrase, validate your privacy, on our marketing site on 2 pages. The word or the phrase page scan is on a couple of pages. So I could easily just set my alert on text fail if I wanted to, like so. And then just quickly set an alert. If I ever see any of these unapproved phrases, send me an alert. And we're done. And I just let it run. I could add this to any audit, and never worry about it again. Because who knows if somebody's going to, sneak the AIG word back on the website on accident. Jared, right? So this is Jared, and that's Dylan, and then other Jared. Where are you at? Other Jared. These guys are all way smarter than Mike and me combined. So. Oh.
Does that have a number? What number is the mic? Does it say? Mic is 6.
Working. All this very quiet. I just was going to add the context here also that you just mentioned there, Clint, being able to apply the alert to other audits. But one thing that can be a little tedious is this first part of getting it to alert you the way you want it to look. But then in reality, especially if it's a use case you're going to use a lot about finding AIG or finding a specific text cloud or privacy thing, you then, once you refined it, maybe work on it for a day or two, you could use that kind of endless to save that same set as what showed you on the screen, and then just use it elsewhere, use the alert elsewhere as well. That really just is the additional input of maybe tweaking how that from AIT text worked or Prof GPT, and then just reuse it. I think that's a big part of what it makes the best at work that even if.
Yep.
Yeah, go back real quick, Clint, to the action. So he was referencing inside of ObservePoint, we have these actions. You can actually save those actions. So if you use a consistent action over and over again into what we call an action set, and then we have a library of those action sets, and those are easily you can just drop those into any journey or audit, and that way. So once you create it once, then you can just reuse it over and over and have it automatically set in any of your audits or journeys. So it makes it really nice. You don't have to go grab that code again and paste it in, or go through it. Maybe it's a login flow of 6 steps. You can just save that login sequence and then just drop it in that component. And then anytime you update it in the one spot, it'll automatically update for you across all of ObservePoint.
Yep. Yeah, I just showed you here how easy it was to make that JavaScript that I used before, make it an action set that's now reusable in any place in the app.
Okay, so that's keyword. Endless use cases, right, when it comes to keywords. So thank you for bringing up a perfect example, right? He's got some new branding that he needs to take care of. And so as you think of any, you ask us or try it yourself. So you showed you the alerts already. So let's jump into the next use case here around privacy. So a lot of these things, ObservePoint's the process of building, but you want to get some insights today around, okay, what's the status of my consent manager banner? Is it actually there, present? We can interact with it or check that the tag for loading it was there, but was it actually physically loading on the user screen? Was there something not blocking it? And so we'll show you how to check for that. And then if you have some privacy policy, like just the word privacy policy on every footer of every page, or maybe there's specific language in your privacy policy that needs to be there, you can look for that. And then last, we'll take a look at the use case of, is the option to do not sell my information there as well. So those are kind of the common use cases, and then there's many more that you can check out as well.
All right, same thing once again. This information we set up to be a pass-fail in the browser console logs. So we'll see here that we've got some privacy passes, privacy policy link found on 60 pages, not found on, therefore, 40 pages, right? Things like on our API, like this scan, I let it get into whatever it could find on the. So I told it to start at ObservePoint.com marketing site. Then it crawled into our API docs and it crawled into some other places. Those should have a privacy policy on them, right? Because it's public facing and anybody can land on those pages. And so we've got some work to do. Where is the CMP banner? We know that the CMP banner is not on a couple of within a couple of our consent management systems that we're using for some of our help docs and things like that. Our CMP is not there yet, but it will be. So we expect it to be missing from there. So you can see here that it was missing on 41 pages. So that would be a good alert to set up. That's really, really high priority alert to set up that you would say if any page out. Let me actually do that real quick. So we could say for this alert, I'm going to filter by that text specifically. So some alerts you could say, hey, if I have more than 10 pages where my page title tag was longer than 70 characters, maybe alert me about that. But if there's only one, I don't care. But if there's any page missing my CMP banner, I care. So when you're setting up an alert, there's the option here to customize the alert logic. And it's automatically going to take the value that was in that widget 41. But in this case, I have no room for error here. I have to make sure that every single page has this alert. So I can just say, if this browser console log that says CMP banner is missing on any page, send me an alert. So super simple to set up those kinds of alerts. This one is also a pretty simple JavaScript. And this one we're actually going to add here. We're going to have ChatGPT, hopefully successful this time, show us add to this a check for our do not sell link. And we don't actually have one on our marketing site. I don't think we have to for some reason, but we don't have one. So I'm going to grab that. This one I'm going to help it just a little bit. See how it says look for an href that has the link privacy policy in it. I'm going to tell ChatGPT, please add to this JS a check for the text, or sorry, add a check for a link with the test. Now this worked before when I tested this one, so hopefully it'll still destination. I'm gonna leave a typo of to Oops. Sometimes ChatGPT will try and get really smart here and just start doing stuff, and because I forgot. So the 2 times that I ran this before in preparation, this worked just fine. So we'll see if it works now. Yeah, so it's added essentially that you can see that it took the same function that it set up here, and the other thing that's really powerful about ChatGPT that is super impressive, it leaves comments. And then sometimes I've had it write regular expressions for me as well. It actually gives you Java code or a Python script to test the regular expression for you, and just without even being asked. It's such a useful tool. So now I can just grab that guy, and I'm going to run it on the. So these guys should have a do not sell, right? Yeah, their link is something else. It's not even it is a link. So I could even say let's actually check for this one. This says content dash pop up. Right? So I'm going to change this to so this is where Mike talked about having just a little bit of technical skills, being able to read text and edit text. It's kind of all you really need here. So we'll run this. And it says, look at right there. So it says CMP banner was missing. We didn't see a CMP banner when I came to the site. It's probably because I'm in the US and I didn't need a CMP banner. But it also says the privacy link was found. They happen to have the same link, privacy-policy, as we do on ObservePoint, and the do not sell link was found. And so what's nice is now I can just throw that JavaScript into my audit, run it, and it'll tell me what pages, like it'll say either it failed because the do not sell link was missing, and I'll know exactly the pages and I can set an alert on that. So that's how easy this is. And so you see that ChatGPT did 99% of the work here. It's super powerful. I think that's on that one, Mike.
Yeah. So we got a couple more examples, I think, and then we're going to jump into any ones you guys want to build together. And then if we're lucky and we have some time, some product sneaks. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. I have this actually the last one, I think. So page performance. So ObservePoint will give you a nice metric to define your page performance on, set alerts on at the just kind of the full page load. But sometimes you want to get a little more granular than that and actually get down to, well, when was the site first interactable, when the actual content load, basically anything. If you ever use this command in your console, performance.timing, any of those values that you are interested in, we can call and get those metrics for you across all of your site. So this is all you have to do is type in this, and then if you expand that, Clint, you'll see there's tons of cool metrics that the browser will just give you out of the box. And so we're actually going to show you how to capture these. We didn't capture all of them, but just some of the critical ones that we thought. And so you're free to change our code, or I guess ChatGPT's code, and make that happen. So we'll show you how to set this up and then create some alerts on it as well.
Yeah, this one actually blew my mind. The other ones kind of blew my mind a little bit, but this one really blew my mind because you'll see here, if we go back to these are metrics, right? And they're all written in Unix timecode. Is that these are, Dave? Robbie? And ChatGPT knew this performance.timing function in Chrome DevTools. I didn't tell it to use it. It knew it. And it also knew that it needed to do some subtraction to get the answers. Crazy, right? Let me show you. I'm still zoomed in, funny. All right, so you'll see here that it's using the performance.timing. And so essentially what I asked it is like, hey, show me pages where my DOM content loader takes longer than 3 seconds. Or show me pages where my DNS resolution took longer than 20 milliseconds. And I also said, tell me where my DOM interactive took longer than 2 seconds, right? Just to see what it would do. And it came up with all of these calculations and the subtraction, and like who said ChatGPT can't do math? This is math, right? This is math. It can't do 3 plus 3, but it can do performance.timing domain lookup end minus performance.timing domain lookup start. It can do that math really well. So let's look at the results of this one. I'm just going to filter here by fail. Performance fail. So we've got 4 pages where the DOM interactive took longer than 2 seconds, And when I ran this the other day, we ran this just recently. When I ran this the other day, I had several pages that had DNS resolution that took longer than 20 milliseconds. Don't know if that matters or not, but it was one I checked. And somewhere in this big old long log of ChatGPT, right? So here it is. You can see me interacting with ChatGPT here, just asking it to say, I said, right there, like, please add to the following JS to check for how long took DOM content to load. Now, so I'd already added the let me go back in here. Sorry, this is really cool. So I asked it to add how long it took the DOM content to load, and you'll see here that's this check right there. I already had the other two checks in place, the one for DNS resolution timing and for DOM interactive timing. Those were already there, and I gave it that JavaScript without the DOM content interactive. Without the DOM content loaded, right? And you'll notice my question wasn't like, give me another permutation of this. I said a dumb question. It's like, please add to the following JS to check for how long DOM content took to load. How ChatGPT interpreted that was that it wants another one of these pass-fail. And so it added this pass-fail for me without me having to make it do it, or just with that dumb of a question. It was able to do that. And then just some alerts on that, right? You want to know that your pages are DOM interactive in less than 2 seconds. Say that's your standard. Just change a number there. You can even have ChatGPT change a 3 to a 2 if you want it to. But well, that's it on this one, right?
Yep. Let's move along the slides. So those are just a few examples. You can move next slide. That like we kind of came up with that we thought were cool, but we saw Chris come up with an idea. Now that you've kind of seen some of this, is there any ideas that you have now kind of come up with that you'd like us to try out here and see if we can implement it for you? Any checks come to mind? We got the smartest people in the room, Jared, and Dylan.
I'll defer.
Use your mic. Wait.
Can you have it check for some basic web accessibility requirements and return true or false? What's the source? Is it WPAC for web accessibility?
Okay.
There you go. WCAG. So based on WCAG, check for a couple of.
I will. Yeah, we will. So start with the magic word, right?
Please.
Please write a JavaScript. I'm going to capitalize, spell it properly too. That can be executed in Chrome DevTools and outputs as console messages. Right? The JS needs to check for adherence to WCAG.
Yeah.
2.1.
He's making this up.
Now, remember, ChatGPT only knows about stuff, and it doesn't know about stuff in the last 2 years. So we'll see that it adheres. Check for adherence, or you
can say the latest WCAG requirements.
I want to do the latest because we just haven't been adopted. Just
keep in mind that ChatGPT is 2 years old here. Like it doesn't know anything from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or
I'm so ahead of the curve. I need the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just say most recent for now. Who knows what it's going to do?
Requirements.
Yep.
Or put like 10 requirements, 10 of the most recent, 10 most important.
Let's see. Let's give it that much and see if we can do anything. Like, this is how I started with all the other ones, and I just worked through refining them. here's the cool thing. Like, it knows me because I've been interacting with it a lot. See what it did here? See where it did this pass fail stuff? Or I don't know if you can't see it. This is the part that's like kind of creepy, just a little bit, but awesome creepy. Like, it knows that I kept asking it to write it in this like SEO colon fail. Like, I came up with that construct myself, and I changed the JavaScript and told it to do it in that structure, right? And from then on, it's been doing that. It's been doing like SEO pass, SEO fail. Now it's doing WCAG pass. You notice that it did that. We didn't ask it to do that, right? Well, we told it to do pass fail, but it knows me just a little bit, right? It knows what I want to see. So I don't know. We'll see if should we see if this works. Is there a page that somebody know that we just tried on this AIG page? Oh, he doesn't work there. He doesn't work for AIG anymore. These chumps. Did some stuff.
He's got some fails in there. It looks like it printed out the whole
GG website.
Oh, that's it. Oh,
Let's
I just
sponsor
cost
that.
somebody some money.
Going back to, you go,
That's the one, yeah.
There's no way W3C is compliant. I don't know. We'll see. Some invalid attributes, another fail element with invalid role attribute, form control without a label, 452 checks passed, 3 failed. So, how do we do this in ObservePoint? Oops. I'm just going to set up a new audit. I'm going to run this on our site real quick. So, we're going to go web audit. We're going to go, what is it, WCAG? Yeah. Watch me type our domain wrong. And then I'm just going to go to on-page actions, add one, make it an execute. I always like to just look at it because it looks so cool. Click OK, save and run. So that in about 10 minutes, that'll be finished, and we can. What time is it? Yeah, we'll have time to review it in a few minutes. We'll see what it comes up with. Who knows? That's a good one. Others, well, and we can refine this, right? So we just did that real quick. Like, this is like the ADA compliance is super important, right? So, you might want to spend a few hours, maybe a day or two, really refining your prompt. And we're working on this as well, so you'll be able to get some of these scripts from us as well. But in the meanwhile, you can refine them yourself.
Can we do one that checks or maybe suggests an HTML element that would be used to kind of identify individual books and individual elements, especially pages where you may not know what's going to be there? Does that make sense?
No, I didn't. I missed.
Usually you want to have an ID or some sort of data attribute, but a lot of pages don't have good development teams behind them. So can we scan for an optimal identifier if you're going to try to track clicks on different elements?
So check every element has an ID associated with it, something like that.
Which attribute name would you use to track the clicks? Like, which is going to give you the distinct values you need? Does that make sense?
It does.
We had to add on.
look at that where JavaScript checks for every element that have an event. And I think it click it. Make sure it also has your designated specialized attribute for.
Right. If it's not there. Like
Yeah. What he's saying is he wants the
would you
script
use our
to recommend it as identifier,
would
right?
you name,
I bet you it could do it. I'm trying to think of how to ask it to do that.
So find all elements on the page, and
you can try an easier use case. That's fine.
Please.
its best use case or its best and its recommended identifier for JavaScript or something.
You got either recommend I want to recommend a restricted add something good identifier that resets on all the HTML. Anyway, even for a specific element onto the page, right? How do we track a page that doesn't have good act on it? Yeah, okay, now that a little bit of a different.
That would require your on-page action to actually go to the ChatGPT API, give it all the elements on the screen, and say, for this page, what do you recommend is missing? And then output those results. So that's a little bit different of a scenario here. Also doable, though. And probably not something you guys could put together on screen for this one, I'm guessing. It would take a few minutes to build that.
Mike and Clint, if you guys can make sure that either you repeat the question or that we have it on a mic, just so for the recording that we're continuing to grab everything.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other use cases? What, grammar, spelling, correct translation? Do lots of stuff.
I had one, Mike, that I worked on not that long ago with an auto agency that we worked through in a POC, and that was that they had a bunch of their old logos and old images on their pages that where they were struggling to find all of and get rid of in their migration to their new branding. And so that was one where we just searched, and you could probably do this one pretty easily, actually. It's kind of related to something we've already done, where we just searched any image that had boval.png or something like that. That was like the type of file that matched their old branding, and then they could find it much easier. That's one that could be easy if you wanted to do it, but that was a big one for them and a big win.
I threw this in here. I don't know what it's doing. So I just said, for all HTML elements that have a click handler, list those that don't have a name or an ID. Right? Well, I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. Once in a while, there's like one out of every maybe 30 or 40 code samples I got back from ChatGPT would give me an error. And all I would do is I'd copy that error out of the console and say, hey, I ran that, but it gave me this error. And it would say, oh, okay, let me fix that. And it would handle the error. It was, there we go. No elements with click event listeners. And it says there's none. So is that true? Let's just check this one I can see. See, it didn't work. Because that one doesn't have a name or an ID. So that one needs, like this one needs some refinement. Oh. So we could actually say, okay, let's do this. Let's say instead of looking for click handlers.
Hey, don't forget, please, Clint.
Oh, whoa.
You got to start off strong.
Please. I actually like to reassure it. I like to say, that worked great, but it wasn't exactly exact what I needed. Instead of looking for click handlers, look for all HTML elements, all HTML hrefs only. You see, I had some typos in there too. It's good at knowing that I'm a human and mistype things. So we know that one link that we just looked at does not, we can see it right there, right? It has no name or ID. So we'll know real quick if this is working or not. Oh, a whole bunch of them. Look at all those links that don't have a name or an ID, right? So this could be something that you could start from this construct and add some more stuff to it to where maybe you could recommend some selectors. Like I imagine that it could get a hold of the Chrome, where am I at? Right here, right in Chrome, you can always right-click on an element and say copy the selector. It might be able to get a hold of that selector. I don't know, but it might. We could say, and then like recommend it. Well, let's just do it. Say recommend a CSS selector. Or I don't know.
No, the code probably wouldn't do it. That's kind of what Dave was saying there. But what you could probably do next, if you wanted to try it, that would fulfill what you're asking, you could ask ChatGPT to then make an API request to ChatGPT to request or to recommend a handler for that, and it could work. It would be that you'd need to put an API key in or something to make it use your account.
Yeah.
But that would create the full circle that Dave was saying.
Pretty cool.
It's doable to then make API requests, because I've actually done that a few times with some of Google Lighthouse stuff, where I made API requests in my action set that then recommended something. So I just wanted to say that if you wanted to try it, but it is possible to complete the circle of having ChatGPT recommend to handle it.
No, yeah. Like I may or may not have mentioned, like these solution engineers that we have are smarter, like individually, than Mike and I are combined. So as you can tell from Jared's, just wanted to, I'm like,
And more humble, significantly more humble.
yes. All right, this is some other. We're not going to do that one right now. I'm scared of it. So
We just got a few minutes left, so we can cover anything, or we'll move on. If
yeah. Like if you just want a few minutes to just try and play with some of these things, just raise your hand, and myself, Mike, or Jared, or Dylan, happy to walk by and
and just a reminder, we do have a community Slack space, and we do have a channel directly for this. There's also just a general channel. You can ask any questions as well. So if there's something after this conference, you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to look for this, any of us at ObservePoint will be more than happy to help you get that set up. whether it's through ChatGPT or just a known method we already have. So awesome. But yeah, let's take a look at kind of the future real quick, just the last few minutes we have.
I'll do that one.
So yeah, this is me. So all this stuff is pretty awesome as far as being able to use ChatGPT and, do this little bit of workaround and get that information into somewhat of a usable format that can give you alerts inside of ObservePoint. But as mentioned earlier this morning, ObservePoint wants to do more than just having you do little workarounds and just want to give that data out of the box. And so all of these things we talked about today, as far as looking for specific links, show me where images are, all the attributes about those images, videos, forms, kind of anything that the browser can give you. ObservePoint wants to expand the data that it's giving you. So right now we're very focused around tags, cookies, how the page is responding and performing. But there's a lot more out there that we see at ObservePoint when we're visiting those web pages, and we have that data, but we just haven't necessarily exposed a lot of it. And so this is a new kind of reporting structure that we're looking at here as far as being able to show you these different attributes. So for example, this is, keep in mind, this is just prototype. This is just pictures, not our actual product. Sometimes it can look like that. But these are things we're actually looking at and doing some R&D on right now as far as being able to productize. So I'll walk through just kind of some of the reports we are looking at developing. And then during the conference, you guys have feedback. I want to go on these one-on-one, just grab anyone from the product team, and we'd be happy to walk through this with you. But so here's an example of a link. So just right now we visit pages, right? And we can get all the information about the links that are available to you. But there's a lot of links we don't even visit as well, right? There's maybe a PDF or a certain type of link that just wasn't part of the audit. It was excluded or something like that. And so we'll give you a full list of all your links, as well as the information around it. And this is going to help you kind of in that SEO use case that we talked about at the beginning, right? Of saying, okay, was there the certain labels that need to be on there, all the alt text, things like that will help you with this use case. And so you can get a full list of all the links, what pages those were found on, and then all the attributes of what that link has and where to find them for this report. We'll do something very similar for images as well. So breaking down all the different type of images out there, their size, are they heavy images on your site? Do they have alt text? We're talking about the ADA compliance, and also break down all the different images types, and perhaps even recommend at some point down the road, you should use this type of image instead to create a better user experience. Same thing for videos. All the videos that are on your site, even perhaps their duration. So how long are these videos? How big are these videos? What's the player type? Are things that you would be interested in for videos. Another big one has a couple different use cases, right? It could be privacy or even, lead capture, right, is forms. And so these are oftentimes where, privacy could be exposed. And so we want to make sure that you have an inventory of all the forms that are out there on your website. And then all that different attributes that those forms have, and whether they could cause some exposure for you as well when it comes to private information. And then browser storage, right? There's lots of different things within the browser, whether it's local storage, session storage, which can be another way to track users, right? And even some new things with the Chrome privacy sandbox, right? Like they have the private state tokens. There's even some shared storage there to track those users. All that information can be exposed and reported on, and then even alerted on inside of ObservePoint. And then we kind of touched on this one a little bit today with being able to do some keywords and look for things on your website. But we also want to take it to the next level, being able to say, okay, let's just take a look at all the words. Did we see any spelling errors? Did we have any grammar issues? And then even reading comprehension to some level as well. And also look at those things in context, is the grammar correct? And then also being able to support, hey, instead of doing some custom code inside of ChatGPT, just coming in here and searching for a word and then adding it to say, hey, ObservePoint, look for this word going forth in every audit. And then we, just like we showed today in specific little demo around privacy, doing things like checking for your privacy links, your banner, as well as do not sell would be kind of its custom report as well. So these are some things we're thinking about ObservePoint, not just there's tools today to solve for this. We want to make it much easier and get it right into your hands without having to do any work. And so some things we're thinking about. Love to get your feedback on them throughout the session, and then we'll have some more product look aheads tomorrow. But that's it for the session. So really appreciate your time today and enjoy us. Hopefully you learn some new things and maybe some new use cases that you can use ObservePoint for that you never thought of before. And then, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Just one note: these are our email addresses, Mike or Clint. Go back. There we go. Just real quick, super easy to remember. You want to ask us any questions directly, have any product feedback directly? I'm happy to receive that. So.